Double. Yeah, there's another one of these. So yeah, let's talk about this one. I talked about why I liked Agent of Shield season one. The thing with Hydra, the connection with it, the literal twist of having one of the protagonists, and definitely all of that. And I loved it. I absolutely thought it was amazing. And when season two came in, it's really good because at a certain point, it's somewhat having two goals. And I find that interesting and I really enjoy it. So overall, because you have to have two sort of separate, sort of like, here are two things that we're dealing with right now. Sort of untangling them becomes interesting. So yeah, one of the things I do like about this is the whole Agents of Shields sort of thing, right? The Shield part. This is the whole point of this series. You have the agents, you have the people there, you have them joining, and it's really fun. But the one thing which I do like even more is in this one, not only do they still have the Hydra agents out there and a other military group that is currently seeing them as the threat. That's what is introduced. It's they were revealed to have Hydra inside of Shield. So Shield is presumed to be Hydra, and that is seen as the threat. And all of that is this is what's happening, this is what's going to happen, etc., etc., etc. Slowly going into one, a separate branch of Shield, which I think is really good because it brings up one of the characters that in definitely season two and three I think did was really interesting. There's something in season three that I'm like, what? What? But I'm not going to talk about that. But the secrets of the second shield and sort of talking within someone of the second shield being sneaky like that of like the second shield of trying to rebuild it, I think is really fun. I think it's really good. And then we have Inhuman. So I didn't say this originally because sort of in season beyond they sort of deal with Inhumans as a general thing. But season one and early season two didn't really have Inhumans as amazing. You had people who had advanced abilities, but the ideas of Inhumans weren't a thing. So I'm gonna just say this for someone who somewhat does not read the comics. I do read one or two volumes, but does not read it on a consistent basis. What do I know about the Inhumans, and what do I know about the Mutants? Because I know there are two things that had a thing for a long time. So I know supposedly the humans were made because at a certain point the X-Men, there was a thing with the X-Men and Inhumans. I think they're changing it now because Inhumans kind of get a bit of not a good because like even the TV show, even though I reviewed it and I love it, they didn't do as well because I know in the comics they turned Miss Marvel into a mutant. I do know that. Because I know there's also a similar thing with Gwenpool turning her into a mutant. And I know in the movie, not the movie, the TV show, and some other stuff, they're suggesting that uh, Miss Marvel in that is also a mutant. I've also seen a couple of things, like I said, with the like there was a bunch of animation. Why am I saying anime? Animation, animation, sort of short films and like one or two series that deal with sort of like uh, Spider Gwen, Miss Marvel, Squirrel Girl, and a bunch of the stuff connected with an human story, which I think was really fun and I like the idea of. Do I think they're going to bring Inhumans into the main MCU? Yet to be determined. I think no. I know there's references to it. I know in Multiverse of Madness, there was a person who had the speech, who was sort of like the king of the place. But I don't think they're going to, because recently they got X-Men back, and I know mutants, I think a lot more are more liked than the Inhumans, which, in my opinion, I think both in X-Men and Inhumans both I think are an interesting story, because with the mutants is very much, we know, even in most of the stories we know mutants exist. It's just you will like you could randomly become a mutant roundabout in your adolescence. The reason why I think Inhumans, and I think it's a more interesting story, is that can happen anytime. The idea with the Inhumans, as far as I know, is that there's a Terrigen crystal. They describe it in this show, and if you get absorbed into it, I don't know if humans can die through it, because the last one I know didn't. But I think that's more of a safety thing. It was essentially the Inhumans in Avengers Assemble had a thing of like, oh, but the humans won't die. The idea is that you can literally be a sort of adult, and if you get in contact with the Terrigen crystals, they can basically make your body go through a bunch of adaptation. That your body evolves in a super level rate. It basically super evolves your body, rather than the mutations being essentially just your DNA is on a fritz to a certain point. I don't know much about the mutants. I know about the Terrigen crystals because it's talked about a lot in Avengers Assemble, and that's a major plot. That's as far as I know. I don't know how much of it is incorrect or how much is incorrect, and I do know that in Humans, the TV show, but I don't remember too much of it. So I don't think they're gonna. Again, this is all of a point of, will this be canonized? I don't think so. They talk about Inhumans. I don't think they're gonna bring in humans. I think they're gonna go with the mutants, because if they don't, it's very odd why may have in the comics Miss Marvel becoming a mutant. There's not much difference besides time. The mutation of the X-Men, I've heard, usually is in young adults, like teenagers, young teenagers. Well, I think the Terrigen crystal can affect anyone, uh, which I do think is interesting. I am going to talk about some things about that in season 3 because that affects that more, and I think it's interesting. And definitely bringing sort of, I think, I think even by this point it is still Daisy's mum and dad, who are both really interesting and creative characters. And the idea of one being like, I am this, and it's because of this reason. It's so effed up. I definitely think it's really good, and how they take this into the next season, that's amazing. So yeah. Sorry about that. Most of it was me being like, here's what I know about the difference between the X-Men and the new ones, because I know that's a huge point with this. A lot of things that are currently being talked about shows now are, here's what the Agents of Shield had, here's what Iron Fist had, and all of like the stuff where it's like Daredevil's becoming more canon, this is becoming more canon. Will any of this be canon is something that I think is something that I want to think about moving forward. Even though I think I've skipped two. Wait, no, just one. No, just one. Yeah, just one, because I watched Fantastic Four. But I am excited to see where this goes. So yeah. So yeah, Zombie 4, Dawn of the Vampires is tomorrow, or technically today. But yeah, I hope you enjoy. I hope you like this video. And yeah, good night.